The Alabama Farmers Federation and the Alabama Farmers Cooperative proudly present Simply Southern with your hosts Jim Allen and Mary Johnson.
Hello and welcome to Simply Southern. I'm Mary Johnson.
And I'm Jim Allen. Coming up on today's show, we'll show you a new crop some Alabama farmers are growing that could help you reach your destination the next time you take a trip.
This crop is going to be crushed for oil to be used for biojet and biodiesel fuels, along with an animal supplement for proteins.
We all know coffee is a great way to wake up, but one coffee roaster in Selma is making special blends that do more than give a boost of caffeine. They help awaken people's souls.
It's not saying, hey, this is a Christian company. It's like, I want to see by the fruit that the company's doing that people say, wow, that's set apart, it's different.
Plus, Sidney Phelps of Bonnie Plants will show us what you'll need to plant a griller's garden in your backyard.
But first, what slithers and slides and tastes good fried? Let that rattle around in your noggin a bit, and we'll give you the answer after the break.
But it is kind of like a fishy chicken.
What we eat, what we wear. It all starts somewhere. And if it's good, it usually starts with a farmer. And that somewhere is right here in Alabama. In a field, in a barn, on a tractor. Right now, there's a farmer starting something good for all of us. And it all starts right here in Alabama.
There's no such thing as downtime when you own a farm. This is your land. You tend it and try to get the most from it, no matter the weather or time of day. It's been that way for generations. And for generations, your local quality co-op store has been there for you, with a full range of agriculture supplies and services, from feed to fertilizer, seed to grain storage, and the right hardware for any application. You'll always find what you need, plus friendly, knowledgeable advice at your local quality co-op store. There's one near you.
Mother Nature can get a little dicey in spots. If you swim in the ocean, you know you're always looking out for that fin. Bears the size of minivans fill the nightmares of hikers in the northern states. Well, way down in the South Alabama pines, probably the one sound nobody ever wants to hear is the rattling of a famously ornery reptile. Unless you're the small city of Opp, which has transformed the notorious rattlesnake into an annual good old time. In the old Western movies, the appearance of a rattlesnake usually guaranteed a few tense moments of panicked horses, flying bonnets, and a bad day for some poor cowboy. Here in Opp, Alabama, they roll them out by the dozens and sell funnel cakes. For nearly 60 years, the annual Rattlesnake Rodeo has been a premier tourist attraction to this quiet corner of South Alabama.
It started out, the local guy by the name of J.P. Jones had a restaurant down south of town, and he had a few snake cages down there that he would put the snakes in. And then on Rattlesnake Rodeo Day, he had a flatbed trailer pulled in, and a local country music band would play, and that was about all it had. In 1970, we moved the rodeo back into town and into the football stadium and started adding activities to it, and we've had some of just about everything you can think of.
You won't be seeing any roping or wrestling during the weekend event, and the riding's pretty tame. What's not tame are the snakes, and this particular rodeo's chock full of them.
People come to see the rattlesnakes. People seem to be fascinated by these things. People come from all over the country. We've had people from many foreign countries. At times, we'll put 30,000 people in this stadium over the weekend.
A team of experienced handlers puts on quite a show, giving audiences a unique, up-close look at the Southeast's largest poisonous snake. If you've ever wanted to touch a rattlesnake, see a rattlesnake strike, get a good look at some pretty wicked-looking fangs, or see how snake venom is milked, folks, here's your chance. Or maybe you prefer your rattlesnake battered up and fried. Get in line.
We have fried rattlesnake meat available. We have 200 pounds up there, and it'll sell out. It's pretty good. Not a lot of meat on it, but what is on there is good. It's sort of a cross between a frog leg, gators, a little bit on the tough side.
Tastes like a tough rooster is what it tastes like. But it is kind of like a fishy chicken.
If there ain't enough tartar sauce in the world, fear not. You can find all your fair food favorites just around the corner, along with all kinds of rides, glides, slides, and other festival family fun. And when the sun goes down, there's live music all weekend long. But it's the snakes that take center stage at the Rattlesnake Rodeo, which organizers hope educates as well as fascinates.
Do not do this at home. Call a professional.
We always try to do an educational show. People will ask a million questions before the day is over. The best thing to do if you encounter one of these things in the woods is get away from it and leave it alone. We always try to emphasize, especially with children, to go to their parents and not try to do anything with a snake.
All of the handlers have years of experience working with these snakes, and in the rodeo's 57 years, no one has been bitten. Organizers of the event want to create a respect and understanding of these animals, which, despite their fearsome reputation, are important players in our ecosystem and, it turns out, one small South Alabama town's economy.
We're a population of about 7,000, and we put up 30,000 people in town, so all the motels are full, the restaurants are full, and then the surrounding community is the same thing. So it has a tremendous financial impact on local businesses, plus bringing notoriety to Op. And some people think that's a good thing, some people question that, but it's just something we've done down here.
I've known some folks that if their water hose moved a little funny, they'd be going for their shotgun. So this particular event might not be for everybody. But if you're interested, keep an eye on their website, oprattlesnakerodeo.com.
If I ever do make it down to Op for this event, which I'm sure it's a very fun one, I'll be up in the nosebleed seats. Keep me away from those creatures. Up next, we follow our noses to Selma to visit with coffee roaster Ryan Bergeron, who hopes his Revival Coffee Company will awaken the nation.
How do you show love? With the big things? The little things? The tough things? Your everything. Show them you care. Alpha Insurance.
Support healthy food from local farmers by purchasing a Farming Feeds Alabama license plate. The tag funds education and promotion efforts, including Ag in the Classroom, agricultural scholarships, and youth programs. Get your Ag tag today.
For 100 years, every Bonnie plant has started with two hands and a mission: to put fresh, homegrown herbs and vegetables on every table in America.
Who are you talking to?
The plants, they like it. Success starts and ends with Bonnie plants.
Alabama soybean farmers help fuel the state's economy. Soybeans are used to make clean, renewable biodiesel and are a key ingredient in feed for poultry, catfish, and livestock. Soybeans are used in dozens of products we use every day. But best of all, soybean farmers generate $258 million and more than 4,000 jobs for Alabama's economy, all while helping conserve our natural resources. Explore the power of soy.
Preach the gospel to the world, and when necessary, use words. This quote, which calls us to live lives inspired by the Gospels, is often attributed to St. Francis of Assisi, but it could also be a secondary motto for Ryan Bergeron, the owner of Revival Coffee Company in Selma. He's using something as ordinary and everyday as coffee beans to help spread an important message and awaken a nation.
It really started from God the Father's heart. From years of me just saying, you know, Lord, I know there's something else that I'm supposed to be doing, but I just don't know what.
For the former construction worker and missionary, that something was to help revive Selma's economy by opening a coffee roasting business. Ryan soon found bigger plans were brewing for his small-town startup.
It popped into my head, Revival Coffee Company, Awakening a Nation. And I sat there and I was like, well, coffee revives people, it awakens people. I said in revival, because my heart is to see revival. Just with every person I come in contact, it brings them to a place of saying, God is a good father.
Ryan realized his vision to use coffee for good wouldn't materialize unless the coffee was good. So he signed up for a roasting course in Vermont. When the class was canceled, he sought training from Maine Alves, who's world-renowned in the coffee business.
This guy was like the quality control director for the SCAA, which is Specialty Coffee Association of America. He was like the guy, and one of the top ones in the world who trained me one-on-one. And I'm like, how in the world do you get plugged into this?
Roasting great coffee, Ryan learned, is as much art as science.
There are different points where you're getting the peak flavors from the coffee in the roast. So literally sometimes it's a 30-second or 15-second mark. So that's where I come into play, is knowing the specific moments where to change the temperatures, where to change the airflow.
Knowing when coffee beans reach their peak flavor employs all the senses: sight, smell, and especially sound.
The husk of the bean, it's chaff, and there are different points where the moisture is being released, and so the beans start cracking. That's kind of one of the signs that all right, I need to start doing some stuff. There's a second crack if you go to a dark roast. There'll actually be a second crack that's more subtle.
Visitors fortunate enough to watch Ryan practice his craft in a nondescript brick building on Church Street find him with a timer and notepad in hand, awaiting the perfect moment to pull the roasted beans.
What the cooling tray does, it knocks down all the beans and spreads them out. And there's holes in it, so it's bringing air through it and it's stirring them. It goes from 450 degrees to room temperature, and so it's really cool how quickly it'll cool them down.
Ryan roasts beans from South and Central America as well as African countries, creating blends ranging in flavor from nutty to floral and richness from medium to robust. Each Revival blend, however, offers something not found in your average cup of joe: benevolence. With his redemption, restoration, salvation, and integrity blends, a portion of proceeds go to fight human trafficking and addiction, or to support crisis pregnancy counseling and African economic development. Ryan says supporting Christian ministries allows him to serve even if he's not in the mission field.
I feel like years ago the Lord told me, he said, Ryan, I want you to pray into places and I want you to dream so big that it's impossible. And so I've done it, and that's the dreams and visions, and it's that's what I'm going for, is the impossible.
Ryan's dream includes one day helping other small businesses by franchising Revival Coffee.
I want to give options for believers to say, I want to support a company that operates in integrity. I want to support a company that their values are more in line with my values.
Despite Revival's generosity and community focus, Ryan insists it's not a Christian company.
I'm a believer. I love Jesus. But if I have to tell somebody that, then something's wrong. I want that to translate into the company where it's not saying, hey, this is a Christian company. It's like, I want to see by the fruit that the company's doing that people say, wow, that's set apart, it's different.
Just a reminder, Revival is not a coffee shop, but Ryan did say he loves to have people stop in and chat, and he might even brew you a cup if you ask nicely.
So where can you buy their coffee?
Well, you can get the beans and the grounds at some specialty shops in Dallas County and around that area. Also online at revivalcoffees.com.
I do love a good cup of joe.
And that's definitely what you'll get with their beans.
When Simply Southern continues, corn to eat, cotton for clothes, and jet fuel for, well, jets. Yes, you can find all of these growing on Alabama farms. We'll tell you more in a moment.
One out of 4 Alabama residents have benefited from the Alabama Cooperative Extension System. Last year, Master Gardener Managed Gardens donated $150,000 worth of fruits and vegetables to food banks, and over 25,000 young people developed math, science, technology, and engineering skills through 4-H. Now what we want to know is, how can we help you?
Support healthy food from local farmers by purchasing a Farming Feeds Alabama license plate. The tag funds education and promotion efforts, including Ag in the Classroom, agricultural scholarships, and youth programs. Get your Ag tag today.
Alabama wheat and feed grain farmers grow food, fuel, and freedom. Their harvest helps feed Alabama's multi-million-dollar livestock, catfish, and poultry industries while reducing America's dependence on foreign countries for energy and food. By combining their strength with farmers of other commodities, feed grain growers are fueling the economic growth of Alabama communities.
Nothing brings the family together like U.S. farm-raised catfish. American catfish farmers are dedicated to producing a premium, healthy catfish with a consistently mild, sweet flavor. Because we take as much pride in our work as you do in your cooking. From our family farms to your family's table, you can be sure you're getting the highest quality fish. Because your family deserves the best. U.S. farm-raised catfish.
When you look at a farm, you may see a lot of things. Food, clothing, housing. Well, I'll bet you don't see jet fuel. Nevertheless, some Alabama farmers are growing tiny seeds that could carry you overseas. Kevin Worthington has more on this new crop.
While many farmers were still planting corn, cotton, and soybeans this year, Elmore County farmer Joe Getty was just beginning his first harvest of a new crop on his farm.
This is carinata canola. It's a specialty crop made for jet fuel and diesel fuel.
Carinata is closely related to canola, but whereas canola is used primarily for cooking oil, carinata is not approved for human consumption.
This crop is going to be crushed for oil to be used for biojet and biodiesel fuels, along with an animal supplement for proteins.
Carinata has been grown in the summer in Canada and the northern plains, but because of the difference in climate, Agrisoma expanded their production to the southeast as a winter crop about 3 years ago.
It works very well as a winter crop in the southeast. Not only do you get cover crop benefits, but a potential for additional income. We grow it in the summer up north, but our climate in the southeast does work very well for us.
The Gettys and one other farm in Elmore County grew the first crop in Alabama this year.
So far, pretty good, I think. Maybe not full crop, but better than average, you know. Had a hard time getting it in the ground. It was so dry, getting it up. But it has come along since then. And had some dry weather at the end, I think maybe hurt some of the seeds. But overall, I guess it's average crop anyway.
In order to get established in this part of the country, Agrisoma provided the seed and a lot of guidance to the farmers.
As the regional agronomist, my job is to help the farmer grow the crop from selecting their fields, planting, what it looks like, when to fertilize, when to spray, if you need to spray, what you're looking for, and how to harvest it. Because this is a new crop to our region, there is a little bit of a learning curve, and Agrisoma, we're here to help them learn it and so they can get the best yield they can get.
Because carinata production is in its infancy, all of the seed grown in the U.S. has to be shipped to Europe to be crushed and turned into biofuels. But if production increases at the rate they're hoping for, Agrisoma says our economy will soon benefit.
Our eventual goal is to be large enough to have crush mills in the United States. We're growing slowly. Next year we're going to be up to 25,000 commercial acres. We'll only increase our acreages from that. There is a lot of acreage in the southeast that is either fallow or people put down a cover crop that they just use as green manure. They could use those fields to grow carinata and potentially make some income.
While carinata is not approved for human consumption, having a U.S. crushing plant could benefit livestock producers as well as the row croppers.
After crushing the oil out of carinata, the seed meal is it can be up to 45% protein, so it makes an excellent animal supplementation for proteins. It is approved for beef cattle in the United States. We're working on dairy, swine, poultry, and fish.
Farmer Joe Getty says he's encouraged by the possibilities that carinata presents, but he's going to evaluate this crop and possibly another before he decides whether or not to make it a permanent part of his crop rotation.
It depends on the yield. If we're making it 35, 40 bushel area, yes, I think we would. If we don't, it'd be a question.
For Simply Southern, I'm Kevin Worthington.
The crops grown from one 50-pound bag of carinata seed can produce enough jet fuel to fly from Paris to London 5 times.
My goodness, so that's a whole lot of air miles that are growing in our Alabama fields.
It's amazing what we grow on our farms.
Yes, and it's amazing what we can grow in our own backyards too, like a griller's garden. What in the world is that? Sidney Phelps from Bonnie Plants will let you know when Simply Southern continues.
How do you show love? With the big things? The little things? The tough things? Your everything. Show them you care. Alpha Insurance.
There's nothing quite like sitting down to a home-cooked meal with fresh vegetables from the garden. With Bonnie Plants from your local quality co-op store, you can enjoy the freshest vegetables right from your own backyard. And no matter if you're a raised bed gardener, a rose gardener, or if you farm hundreds of acres, your quality co-op store has exactly what you need to get the most out of your plants. You'll always find what you need, plus friendly, knowledgeable advice at your local quality co-op store. There's one near you.
FFA makes a positive difference in the lives of students by developing their potential for premier leadership, personal growth, and career success through agricultural education.
We're strengthening American agriculture and providing our members with the skills needed to build healthy local communities, a strong nation, and a sustainable world.
We are the next generation of agriculture.
It's our turn now.
Let's show the world what we can achieve together.
We are FFA.
For 100 years, every Bonnie plant has started with 2 hands and a mission: to put fresh, homegrown herbs and vegetables on every table in America.
Who are you talking to?
The plants, they like it. Success starts and ends with Bonnie Plants.
Hey folks, Sidney Phelps here with Bonnie Plants. Today we're in the greenhouse and we're talking about doing griller garden. Now, a griller's herb garden is really cool to use, and we've added a little twist on that. So, to get started, what we've got for our items here is a 16-inch double wall container. So it's very lightweight, but very durable also. Perfect for your patio, easy to move around. I've got a bag of Miracle-Gro's Nature's Care Source. So this is their organic blend. But the cool thing about this bag is this is their expand and grow. So this bag will do this pot and several others. You've got plenty to go with. You just basically start mixing it, adding water as you go. So plant-wise, what I chose today is some lemon thyme, onion chives, as well as some Italian oregano. So that gives that herb feel that goes great with all the different porks, chickens, everything that you'd be using on the grill. And then I've also added in a jalapeno to put the twist on it. And what's better than having a jalapeno popper there in the middle of summer on your grill? It's a perfect way to go. So to get started, we're gonna grab the soil and the pot. We're gonna get this mixed in. Like I said, all it is just adding a little bit of water as it goes, and you'll start seeing it blend up. So let's get started on that. Now that we have got our soil mixed and everything there, like you said, it expands out really good and fills the pot up. So when we start off, we're gonna put 4 plants in here. I'm gonna start off with our Italian oregano. And it's the same as always when it comes to the Bonnie Plants with the biodegradable pots. You wanna cut the rim off, tear that back, keep your tag, that way you can know what you planted and the requirements that it needs. Break off the bottom and just dig your hole and throw your plant in. So plant that in there. And all of these items need to be planted container deep. So that is the way that you want to put those in there. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and dig out the hole for the next product. And now I'm gonna get our lemon thyme. And the thymes and the oregano, they're gonna drape over the pot, make it look really nice as it's growing. So break the bottom off, throw that in there, put the tag there, and just rake that back over top of it. So now what I want to do here is I'm going to put the onion chive on this far side. That'll give the jalapeno plenty of room to grow, and it's going to come out. So you think about your upright versus what's going to be laying around the side of the pot. And take our onion chive. All right. Just rake that around there. And onion chive is in, so now lastly, we'll make sure we have plenty of space on this back side, and we're gonna add our jalapeno. Now, the jalapeno may need you to put some kind of steak in it to give it some support, but it won't be a very issue. Just get you can find little bamboo stakes that work great for this. They'll go in the pot. You won't have anything sticking up or a cage to worry about, but a stick to stake it to will be just fine. These are just couple of different ideas that you can use. If you want to use these kind of patios for herbs strictly, or if you wanted to use a pizza garden or a lettuce garden like we've taught before, these are just easy concepts to have plenty of room in your backyard. You can find all of this on bonnieplants.com or the app Homegrown with Bonnie Plants.
If you have a gardening question, drop Sidney an email at simplysouthern@allafarm.com and he may answer it on an upcoming show. Of course, you can always visit bonnieplants.com for new ideas and additional information.
Thanks for joining us for Simply Southern this week. I hope you'll be back with us again next week when we'll go bird hunting. Not hunting for birds, hunting with birds.
We'll also visit a farm that is transforming into a top resort with hopes to draw people from all over the country to what the owner calls the middle of nowhere. But before we go, here are links to some of the stories we featured today. I'm Mary Johnson.
And I'm Jim Allen. We'll see you again next week.
Simply Southern is a production of the Alabama Farmers Cooperative and the Alabama Farmers Federation.